Is this it? Is this our car?
That's our car.
Let's roll right up on it. Oh my. Okay.
What you got in there?
Don't worry about that.
All right, let's get some shots of side. Oh, what do those flashing lights mean?
Basically means it's been dead for a long time.
Nice.
It means you can't see where the trans is at.
Oh, really?
So it might not start.
So for the past 10 years we've been in business. The way I like to tell people is we moved from the south end of Naperville to the extreme north end.
Speaking of the south end of Naperville, what are we doing today?
Well, I figured we'd go over a project we recently got our hands on. Basically, it's a 2006 760i. Those cars are pretty complicated, and they were over a $100,000 car when they were brand new. So I thought we'd take this project on and try to see if we could bring this car back to life and maybe make it easy for people to make the same decision.
So this vehicle is in your possession at this moment?
Oh, correct, yeah.
At the other shop. Sounds like this is going to be fun. All right, let's get to it.
Yeah, basically the customer came in and the car was towed to us to begin with. And he said, hey, what's going on with it? What can you do? And that basically turned into him not wanting to put any more money into it because of the amount of issues it had.
Nice. Do you remember specifically what those issues were?
Basically, we've got a whole bunch of leaks, transmission communication issue, which is probably going to be the mechatronics unit. We really didn't dig into it too much. It's just the quote we gave him for having to start the diagnostics was going to be pretty high just to get into it because we saw the amount of problems on this car, and he just kind of cut his losses and ditched it.
Nice. Have you ever done any builds like this before?
Not on the E66, but I've always actually been a fan of these cars ever since I was at the dealer. I kind of have some history with this car, so I'm pretty excited about it. I've always wanted to do one of these, but not getting too long into it, but I was actually banned from working on these cars at the dealer.
No, really? No, please. I think that's exactly what you need to get into right now.
Yeah, so basically, anytime these cars would come in, the older guys really didn't want to touch them because they were always headaches. I got pretty proficient at them, and I would be able to basically fix the car and still be proficient with my time, and I could make a lot of money on these cars. So it ended up being that the dealer said, hey, we're going to give these to someone else because these are money tickets for you every time. So yeah, I wasn't allowed to work on them anymore.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Do you have any other stories that you'd be willing to share about your time at the dealership? I think that's pretty interesting stuff.
That's a tough one.
Is it?
Yeah, no, a million stories, but zero. You know what I mean?
That's fair. So
I couldn't single one out.
So for people at home who normally never get the opportunity to talk to a Master Tech, a BMW Master Tech at that, what do you feel most people would probably ask you if they were in front of you right now? What do they want to know?
Most people want to know if these cars are reliable, and I always tell people just straight up, no, they're not.
We're talking about the BMWs.
I'm talking about pretty much any BMW.
Any BMW from all generations, all makes, models.
Pretty much. I mean, I don't think there's one that I'd call, and I'm sure there are people out there that would argue it, but we fixed it all on every single make and model of these cars, from the 70s up until recent. We have customers with 2018 models coming in, doing performance stuff on. So we see everything, and I'll tell you right now that they're just not the most reliable vehicles on the planet.
What do you think? What is it? What is it about it? Is it a manufacturer intended thing, to generate revenue from repairs, or is it just build quality?
No, basically it's not build quality, it's being overambitious with their engineering.
Okay.
BMW, I would say, is probably one of the most technology-driven automotive manufacturers. at the end of the day, they're a small mom and pop company. That sounds weird that they're BMW, but they're not like GM, where they have a massive line where they make transmissions and other parts and things like that. They're not like Mercedes, who, they can launch their line into their trucks and commercial fleet. BMW just makes cars. Yeah, they make some motorcycles, but and they recently acquired Rolls-Royce and Mini, 10 years ago or so, 15 years ago probably now, but they're not like other brands in the sense that they have places where they need to put their money and make a profit. They really focus on building cars and giving you the most for your dollar, and that is often to their detriment. They're pushing the technology so hard that there's no way to ensure reliability when you have that cutting edge of technology. And because of that, they've developed this reputation that I know them for, which is having a great feel that really no other sedan or even SUV is going to be able to deliver. But at the same time, not being the longest lasting car on the road.
So it's kind of like your first love, it's like you really wish it would work and you loved it, it made you feel great, but it just always breaks your heart.
Well, being that I cut my teeth on BMW, that was what I kind of learned first. I kind of have a good perspective from other brands. Because I kind of knew that they were flawed or imperfect, I kind of learned to appreciate what they do well. And what they do well is making really dynamic cars that drive awesome, that give you an awesome road feel, and have cutting edge technology. But again,
they just kind of reliability. So what do you think it is that continuously makes the public draw themselves towards these vehicles in spite of their reliability issues?
They really don't drive like anything else. I mean, it's hard for anybody to get in a sedan and not say, and I mean, this is backed up year after year with the awards they win. They're always at the top of the list for one of their sedans, but every one of their sedans in the lineup gives you a unique feel. It's more sporty, it's more contact with the road. It feels more alive when you're driving it. And that's even with recent criticisms of, because a lot of manufacturers are switching over to electronic steer and systems like that, which are taking away, but they're still delivering that, that experience, even with, the limitations of the new technology.
So we're about like 10 solid years from the 2000s age of the BMW line, and it seems that there's a lot of E60s and E40. I'm sorry, not E46, the E39s on the road, and I feel like those are selling like hotcakes right now. So what should people be looking for when they're going to buy? Because they're going to buy these cars.
Basically, my recommendation to anyone getting into one of these is that you're looking at, let's say, two things. Now, if you're looking at used cars, this might not be the most logical way to go, but if you're really in love with driving and you want an experience while you're driving, you got to treat it a certain way. You got to say, hey, I'm okay with spending money. The price might be low at the beginning, but I'm okay spending money a few times a year in order to keep this thing on the road. Once you kind of have that mindset, it makes the car experience a lot, more practical. If you go into it thinking, I'm going to spend, let's just give an example. I'm going to spend $6,000 on this fairly clean E60 550. If you're going into it, I mean, that was it could have been loaded up for 70 grand.
Yeah.
And if you're going into it thinking that it's $5 grand of getting this awesome car and I'm not going to have to put any money into it for 2 years, you're going to get messed up. Like, it's going to bite you. So if you go into it thinking, hey, I might have to put $3 grand into it this year, $3 grand into it the next year, and then compare that to a car payment or, getting financing on a used car, then you can make the decision a little bit better. But that, of course, means that you have to have a fallback if you are going to go without a car if it breaks down.
Yeah, like a beater.
So, there are definitely mindsets that you have to kind of be aware of when you're trying to purchase one of these cars.
Sounds good. All right, well, we'll take a break for now, and we'll get right back on it once we get to the next shop.
No. Is this it? Is this our car?
That's our car.
Let's roll right up on it. Yeah. All right, let's get to it.
Let's go take a look at some of these other cars in here. Nice. What do we have over here? 545i. Open. It's kind of clean in there. Oh, that's real clean. Come check this one out. That's real nice. Nice. Audi A6 up here, just chilling. Nice. What's this down here?
Damn.
We got the custom fluid MotorUnion seats on this one. Come check this out. Actually, you could probably just get it through here. Look at that. Does your shop have their own seats? That's hot. All right, you got the key, OJ?
I found the key.
All right, let's go. You found the key? Nice. China room. Oh my. Okay.
What you got in there?
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. So that's okay.
That's perfect. Oh man. That's awesome. Alright, what we got here? Oh, we got a little Gucci box, we got little Gucci frames in here. These are not Gucci frames.
so.
These are not Gucci frames. The box might be real. Alright, we starting it up?
So yeah.
Alright, let's go. Let's get that. Let's get this thing started up.
Got some nice flashing lights here.
Get in there real nice and tight.
Alright.
What do those flashing lights mean?
Basically means it's been dead for a long time.
Nice.
It means you can't see where the trans is at.
Oh, really?
So it might not start.
No way, man. How long has this been sitting here?
A few months now.
That's
months.
awesome. That's awesome.
So it starts, but I don't know if it's going to go into gear.
You said the original reason it came was for transmission?
Correct.
Oh, it won't go out of park?
Basically,
That's awesome. Is this one of those things where it's the electronics that is the issue?
typically, yeah, when you see it, that means the control unit's not communicating. I'm just double checking to see if the car was taken in neutral, but it looks like it was already put up there, so that's not the issue. But what I can try is I can try hooking up our scan tool.
See what we got?
Seeing if we can clear it.
No, just kidding.
2015.
That's crazy.
And these seats though, you probably have them too. Nope, sorry. Getting? Are you willing?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, this is gonna be fun. Look at all this. This is work. Okay, I won't mess with it. Break it, drive malfunction. Oh yeah. So tell us, was this the first iteration of the iDrive?
This was the concept that came up with iDrive.
Okay.
And at the time, iDrive was pretty much cutting edge. The problem though was that in 2002 when it came out, and again going back to the needlessly complicated pushing technology of BMW, they had it at one point. It was 17 motions to be able to manually change the radio station. So 17 different motions in order to switch out, just to manually switch a radio station. Now, if you had your presets, there's a button for that. But if you wanted to just go up, 2 or 3 manually, 17 different clicks you'd have to hit.
That's pretty insane. That's not even fun.
So I know a lot of people aren't going to have access to a scan tool, but there's a pretty affordable one that will kind of give you a lot of the actions that I'm using for this one. Bavarian Auto Tech, they sell a tool that basically you get a cable and you can hook up to it and be able to read a lot of the faults. Okay, so right here.
So what are we seeing on there?
No communication.
Hold that up for me a little bit. Technical problems, no communication.
So that is the issue.
Okay.
Which is...
So what's the fix for that?
Typically, and this is probably what was told to the customer, typically it's the mechatronics unit.
Okay.
It could be the EGS control unit, could be the wiring, it could be a few different things that could cause this. However, none of them are cheap and easy fixes. It's one of those things you pretty much got to be ready to spend probably well over $1,000 in order to fix if you have something going on like this. And if you can't commit that to it, there's no reason to start the diagnostics, because you'll just end up spending a bunch of money to be told that you need to pay over $1,000. So,
right.
Spend $500 to be told you need to spend an additional $1,000. We always like to give our customers kind of what you're getting into, so that way that doesn't happen. They can make the choice of, do you want us to narrow this down and see exactly what's going on and take the time, or should we just cut our losses? And that's kind of what this customer chose to do.
All right. So what's the next course of action?
I'm going to run a quick test and just see which control modules are communicating and what isn't. That's going to take a few minutes, but that'll give me an idea if we've got a busing issue or something along those lines, or if we just have a singular module issue.
1 hour later.
All right, so where are we at now with this?
No message from EGS control unit, so looks like we have that message repeated back in a few modules.
How many faults we got on there?
That's the thing. Every time you open up an E65 or an E66, they're always faulted. There's never one I've pulled up and not had faults in it. No transmission control. So we've got multiple saying it's not talking to the transmission. So this car will not be driving back, and we'll have to flatbed it and get it to the shop and see what exactly is going on.
All right, so I think that's a good place to end this one. So just tell everybody what they can expect for the next episode.
Basically, we're going to get it on a lift, see what we're dealing with, and try to narrow down exactly where the issue is. Is it in the transmission itself, or is it in the controller that is outside the transmission that talks to it?
Sweet. All right, cool. Thanks, everybody.